My name is Bailey Zarzi, and this is my part two assignment for the Business 101 project. Um, so, what my product or service is a company that will deliver firewood and stack it in the desired location of the customer. Um, I really like this. I think it's a good idea. I think it'd be really useful. I know I would definitely take advantage of it if it existed. Um, And I think with this, there aren't any like specific customers. I think people that would utilize it more would be people that are busy. So like parents, or people that have day jobs. They don't want to come and do firewood after they get off of work. I think another age or another group that could utilize this, especially, would be elderly people, if they still need to um, use fire to heat their home. I know like my house has a wood burning stove, so this would be convenient for them, so they don't have to mess with that. Um, this costs $140 per load. Um, if you are within 30 miles, if you are 30 to 60 miles away, it costs $155, and if you're between 60 and 100 miles, it costs $165. Now, the $140 per load is pretty reasonable, I believe. Um, for your average rick of wood, it's anywhere between $50 and $75. And most people charge extra to deliver. So usually that's anywhere between 15 to 20 to $25 extra. So you're talking, easily $100 for wood to be delivered, and that's not having it stacked. The loading firewood up into a truck to move it isn't the hard part. I think stacking it is the hardest part, which is why this is definitely something I would utilize. We have a wood burning stove in our house, and the stacking part is the worst part in my opinion. So to have somebody else do that for me to save me that time and effort would be really great, I think. Um, as for the employees of my company, um, I think my goal is to have 4 laborers, the people stacking the wood, um, have them in 2 groups of 2, because then it would save time. It wouldn't have to be one person doing all the work, and it would make it go quicker. We could do more loads per day, and on top of the 4 delivery people would also be one part-time office associate, just to keep on track for invoices and sales and marketing and manning the phone and everything like that for booking. Um, so I think I went with $14 an hour for the laborers and $10 an hour for the office associate. Um, I went with those numbers just because it wasn't a huge pay, but it wasn't bad pay either. It's pretty decent. Um, so that's what I decided to go with. I think my main goal for marketing is to really utilize the free options. I know like Facebook Marketplace is a great place to advertise stuff like that. Creating a business Facebook account, creating a Twitter account for the business, potentially an Instagram, showing our work to customers, to our potential clientele, I think would really be beneficial. Because when you have the extra, like with having that office associate, they could also work on that. Um, that way to help to save on marketing costs. I think other potential marketing tactics could be like billboards, billboards, um, business cards, anything to just help get our name out. But like radio ads are kind of expensive, so it really just varies on how much work it is. I think we would do more marketing in the winter than in the summer because not as many people are going to need wood in the winter, or in the summer, I mean, as they would in the winter. I think my financial plan, um, I have to have enough supplies. I think to kickstart it, I would need at least 2 trucks, so I would need a good deal of capital invested, just because, even if you buy an older truck, they are still, easily $25,000 a piece, so that's like $50,000 just in startup vehicles. Um, then you also have to consider, where are we going to get the wood from? Um, how are we going to, where are we going to be at? Where is our location going to be? Are we going to have an office? Is it going to be like an in-home? Just build on a personally owned property that like we own, and just build a building there specifically for this use. I think the biggest thing with it is just to keep it at a reasonable price, because if you keep it reasonable, customers are going to consider it more. Yes, it is a bit more than if you were to traditionally do it yourself, but I think with the amount of time it takes to, do all of it, I know at my house when we get a load of firewood, it easily takes 2 weeks for me to get it stacked. Like, it's just something you procrastinate so much doing. So I think to have something like this would be worth it. So you want to keep it at a reasonable price so you keep your customers coming back, and that way they don't say, well, maybe, I'm saving a lot more money. Maybe it's not worth this extra money for this time that I'm saving. So that's one thing to really keep in mind, is that you want to keep it reasonably. I want to keep it reasonably priced. That way, customers return and want more than one load at a time, or they want, one load every 2 weeks or something like that. So I think the base plan is just to really keep my customers in mind, really keep my employees in mind, and as time goes on, as the business progresses, just to make sure that those employees are really appreciated for all the help they're doing and all the service that we give. I think just to focus on the business as a whole compared to the profit is really the main point of the whole service, is, to convenience others instead of just myself.